with smoke. That's a pretty amazing scene, don't you think? How would you feel if that was you? Here we have Isaiah. You know, he's just a young man at this point. It's about 740 BC. And he gets caught up into a dream, a vision, or maybe he was even taken to heaven. We don't really know. He had this experience with God. And he sees angels worshiping God. Seraphim, they're like angels. Worshiping God. And we're not talking about a little boys' choir. They are singing so loud the doorposts are shaking. And there's smoke filling the air. Come on, the 80s. We were there, right? It would have been awesome. It would have been life-changing for him. Isaiah, just a guy, I think he was actually a son of a priest. And it just changed him. This is the beginning of a time where Isaiah was called. Okay? So what's his response? Verse 5. And I said, woe is me, for I am lost. I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, a sinful society, right? For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Isaiah is undone. You think about it. He's just a normal guy. He would have heard about God, but all of a sudden he's in his presence. And God is scary. He is. If he can create billions of universes that we don't even know about yet, with one word, how awesome is this God of ours? He's amazing. And he was caught up in his presence. In the presence of the almighty, powerful, perfectly pure God, and he's exposed. How would you feel standing before him right now? I'm a sinner, I'm lost. Undone is the word I came up with. You know, as Christians, we can actually become a little bit too familiar with this God of ours. We really can. We get a little bit avant-garde with him. But when you think about it, what Jesus said, don't fear those who can kill your body but not your soul. Fear the one who can kill your body and your soul and send you to hell. Jesus said this. Meek and mild, beautiful, little, peaceful Jesus. Fear him. And I think there's a reverence that's required when you come to God. I think there is. He's not just Santa Claus sitting wanting to give you great gifts. He wants to fill you with gifts, but he's not some little happy, chubby guy in a red suit with a beard. He's to be feared. Jesus said it. Don't fear those who can only kill your body. Fear the one who can take your body out, but also your soul. Ouch. Isaiah witnessed that. Wow. Would have been a huge reality check for this man, Isaiah. But look what happens next, verse 6. Then one of the seraphim, the angels, flew to me, having in his hand a burning coal that he'd taken with tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth and said, behold, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, your sin atoned for. How's that feel? Right there is an allegory of what was happening 740 years later. When Jesus came and landed in a planet which was wicked and sinful, full of unclean lips everywhere, if you like, in his words. And then Jesus, it's like he came from the altar of God, heaven, and he touched mankind. And as a result, all of us who have received him in faith are clean. No longer damned. No longer guilty. What Isaiah had happened to him is what we believers have had happen to us. Exactly that. He came from the altar. He is the coal that came and touched our lips. If anyone confess it with his mouth and believe it in his heart, that they will be saved, that Jesus Christ is Lord. Paul says to the Romans, he received the greatest miracle of forgiveness. He received the greatest cleansing that anyone could ever have after being undone before God. But what happened next? What happened next? That's verse 8. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send and who will go? Then I said to him, here I am, send me. After being blown away and undone before God, and then having this thing, this miracle happen, where I'm now acceptable in the eyes of God, that God accepts me. He doesn't look at my sin because it's been dealt with now. And I'm not a sinner anymore. I'm saved by grace. But that wasn't enough for Isaiah. He listened to God. And God asked these words, who will go? That's what I want to name 2026. Who will go? Because we're redeemed. We're believers. The coal has touched our lips. And it's not enough just to sit there and say, oh, I'm redeemed. It's not enough. Because God is still asking, who will go? Because there is a world out there who have not had the coal touch their lips. There's a world out there that are still lost and they're still dying. Who will go? Who will go? Elated with the knowledge that he'd been saved, he just had to answer the call, send me, I will go. There's going to be a challenge on us this year, I believe. Strong Nation Church, there is a huge challenge. And I love it. But I think we're ready for it. I think we are. You see, when Isaiah responded to it, this is when he became the Isaiah we know. This is the beginning of his call. God had called him. God had singled him out for a cause. And because he said, send me, I will go, we have a book of Isaiah, which so many have learnt from for how many years? So many. You see, right now, what I believe God is doing, he's calling a lot of people like I've never seen before. For years, I've prayed for this. For years, ever since I've been following God, I've been praying, God, we call it an awakening. And I believe if we open our eyes and our ears, we would know that there's an awakening happening right now. God is calling the lost to him like I've never seen before. Ever. Don't give up on the lost, because God is calling them. I've even met people in this room who came here on a Sunday morning because they just felt like they had to be at church. I said, oh, which church you used to go to? I'd never been to a church. I just had to be here. You hear about people who are of great notoriety. Is that notoriety? People famous who have just decided, you know what? I need to become more spiritual. I need to find out who this God is. And there's people, and the media says, oh, they're turning to religion. No. They're responding to the call of God. God is calling them, and there's a drawing right now. And if you've tried before and you've got people, family, friends who are lost, who don't know, who have rejected God, don't give up on them, because God is calling. He's calling them back right now. But there's another group of people, it's us believers. I think God is calling us believers like I haven't seen since I was a young person. When I was a young person, mate, the call of God was so strong on my friends and I. We just wanted to give it all. That song was really appropriate, Talia. You can have it all, God, was what we were saying in our lives all the time. We wanted to be used by God, and I think what God is doing now, I've described it that He's putting an itch in people's lives right now, and it's just there and it bugs you, because you know God's actually calling you. There's a holy discontentment in your heart right now. There's a group of you, and God's saying, hey, I want to do great things in your life. And you've never felt this before. And how you know is your hobbies, your careers, the things you like to do, and it just doesn't do it for you anymore. I remember that feeling. When I was a young draftsman, being trained to be a draftsman, I became an architectural draftsman, drawing houses, and it wasn't doing it for me. Because God was calling me. I didn't know it at the time, but He was calling me. It became a great way for me to support my family and provide for my family, but it also got me ready for what He wanted me to do. I actually had some rough stuff happen in my workplace where I worked, and had some interesting bosses. But when I look back now, God was just molding and shaping me for what He had for me, because there was a call. But I knew it was never going to be my career beyond, it was my career, but it wasn't something which would fulfill me. The only thing that fulfilled me was to scratch that itch which God had put in my heart. You've heard them saying many times that I've said, If you've known Jesus more than 3.2 seconds, you're a minister of the gospel. I'll tell you, this year like never before, that's so real. He's itching. He's putting an itch in your heart, in your soul. And there's something, I just don't want to miss it. I just don't want to miss it. God's called you. You see, this is the New Testament church. The Old Testament church is, let's go to the priest and he'll fix all my needs. He'll go to God for me. Oh, let's go to the temple and when we get right with God at the temple, the rest of the week's going to be fine. That's the old way of doing things. The New Testament was, Holy Spirit came to be with you 24/7. He's your priest. He's your priest. And church is just equipping now. It's coming to worship him, absolutely, to glorify our God. Yeah, we're your people, God, we worship you, we're awesome. We will give all we can to you. But really what it is when we gather, it's equipping. It's iron sharpening iron. It's getting ready for what God wants to do in our lives. Every person is called of God. Do you understand you've got an incredible call on your life? Some of you guys, injustice is just gnawing at you now. You see something that's wrong and you just can't let it go because God is calling you. God is putting something in you, a holy discontentment. And he's wanting to move you. He's wanting to do something in your life. And you've thought, oh, I could let it go before. I just can't do it anymore. That's God moving. Some of you are running from God. Well, you can try. You can try all you like, but he's the Ancient of Days. He's got plenty of time on his hands. And he will track you down. He's the hound dog of heaven. Because he has called you. He knew you before your mummy and daddy knew you were coming. Okay? And he put a call in you. And right now it's coming to the surface in many people's lives, and it's an itch. It's an itch. There's even some people here today, and you said, do you know what, I'm bored. I'm bored in life. What else is there? Oh, friend, there's plenty for you. There is so much for you. You're bored because you haven't delved across that line. You haven't stepped across that line saying, God, just take my life and use it. Use it for whatever you want, God. When you do that, you watch what happens. Every mountain and every valley you're going to have to go through because he takes you through valleys. But he also takes you onto mountaintops and shows you a view, which is incredible. Who will go? Who will go? Some of you, it's a go into your family because God has plans for your family and he's itching you because he's called you to lead it. Some of you, you're going to be